Not sure who actually bombed them, but United States denied. I am getting into the history of Syria. The king of Syria, after his death, his first son took over the throne, and he died early as well. And his second son took over the throne. But because the second son actually studied medicine in United States, therefore he had no idea about politics or how to reign a country. Therefore, he made a huge mess in the country. Later on, in order to reign the country or reign the people's heart or fight or win over the people's heart and try to threaten them by killing 15 people who were against him. So United States got into the whole massacre and tried to throw over this government, and therefore the second son went to Russia, tried to seek for refuge and also support. Then that's how Russia got into the whole chaotic situation as well. So at that time, there are the two parties. There's Russia and there's United States, and then the terrorist group also started forming inside Syria, who were followers of Hossein Saddam, and that's how ISIS started to build up. A group of them later on fled to countries that's around them. So there are different groups over here. There are United States and Russia and the terrorist group, where everyone's trying to fight them. But in fact, they have lots of power. So the group of terrorists, they also fled into Europe, many European countries. And European countries were also threatened by many security problems that's brought by the terrorist group. So, in some ways, we can see it from a Buddhist point of view, where the second son who killed 15 people tried to overpower the rest of the people, and that seed ripened really fast. Therefore, which caused all the other countries to invade Syria. So we can see it from that angle. Similarly, we can bring that principle into our own life. All the different good relationships and bad relationships, all the adversities that you have in your lives. In fact, they are not happening for no reason. Also, another moral that we can learn from this story is that we cannot fight over with the Maras or pay revenge to the Maras externally with weapons. It is more important to tame our own mind, and if we can tame our own mind, we can subjugate the Maras. If you abide during the troubling of Maras, especially in the realization or status of a bodhisattva, then all the Maras could all be dispelled. But if you grasp on the Maras, if you grasp on obstacles, if you get really nervous and very tight, and if you have this sense of grasping to, I have to be successful. What if I'm not successful? What do I do if I'm not successful? Then the stronger power of Maras would arise. Why do we suffer? There are two reasons that we suffer. One is that we grasp on ourselves. And two is that we do not recognize that all the nature of phenomena are just empty. Everything is just like a mirage, and we don't realize it. We don't see the nature of that mirage yet. So, once we realize all the phenomena, all the obstacles, all our five senses, five faculties and six senses are also empty, then all the Maras or all the obstacles are just naturally vanish. So this is my report on Syria. I really enjoy reading relevant news. So I think this is still quite useful. It's better than listening to gossips, right? Now, Vimalakirti, he already understood or already realized the nature is empty. He already realized that there's no self and no intrinsic existence of phenomena. And from a relative point of view, he already practiced all the skillful means through the six paramitas. And his great vows and great aspirations that he made throughout all his lifetimes had all been accomplished. Just like the 48 aspirations and 48 aspirations of Amitabha and 18 aspirations of Medicine Buddha. So we can see it from two aspects. One is that he had the merits. All of his merits are perfect and all well accumulated. On the other hand, he already understood all the minds and actions of sentient beings. In the translations, the Tibetan version is a little bit different than this translation. It actually stated the mind and actions. At the same time, he was also able to discriminate between those of sharp and dull faculties. But over here, the sharp and dull faculties are not that simple. Sometimes the sharp facultied ones who are really smart, yet they don't have the right view, then they could actually make lots of destructions. On the other hand, those with dull faculties, or who appear to have dull faculties, maybe they have really good faith and perseverance, and later on become a really great person, a great person who can benefit others. So there are many different cases. People with different faculties, different hobbies. Those could be all clearly known by Vimalakirti. And Vimalakirti, according to their different faculties, would preach different dharmas. In the Tang Dynasty's translation, it's actually quite similar as well in terms of the translation. Vimalakirti resides in the deportment of the Buddha and always stayed on the path of Dharma. Unlike some of our Sangha members who started to learn Dharma around age of 70s, who get ordained at age of 72. But you never know, they may actually turn into a great master. Maybe by the age of 80, they'll become a great Khenpo. 70-ish to get a refuge vow, and later on to get ordained, and by the age of 80 to become Khenpo, and by the age of 82 enter into parinirvana. Anyone like that? So his mind is already pure and matured. Just like how mangoes are, some people may look like who has the appearance of ordained monk or not, but inside is not ripe yet. People may think after getting ordained for so many years, it's still not tamed. But that's not Vimalakirti. Vimalakirti is completely matured inside, just like a mango that is mature or ripe on the outside and ripe on the inside. Sometimes I look at some of the great practitioners who practice for their whole life. They may not have fame, they may not have wealth, they may not be very well known by other people, but their mind is always in that status of practice. So I really admire that type of practitioner. So Vimalakirti is like that. His mind is completely immersed with the Dharma. Also, he is definitely dedicated to the Mahayana. As said in the Sutra, as said in the adornment of Mahayana Sutras, it is said there are people who are very flickering. They have a flickering and unstable mind. And there are people who have a very steady and determined mind. That's how Vimalakirti's mind is. He completely mastered the Mahayana path and very much dedicated to it. So I really hope that people listening to this class could have a very sturdy mind. Don't change all the time. You should make such aspirations for this lifetime and for all the lifetimes to come. Make an aspiration not to regress from the Mahayana path. This is very important to make such an aspiration. It is completely up to you. Every day we chant this prayer, don't we? We make aspiration that we'll stay on the path of Mahayana, will be a Mahayana practitioner, will benefit all beings. But even people who hold 2 prayer wheels on both of their hands, sometimes they feel that life is so precious, I have to practice on the Mahayana path. But then later on, they completely changed. They don't even mention the 2 prayer wheels on their hands. They don't even have malas. They don't even have a correct view. Some of them completely regressed from the path. Sometimes when I think of them, I can't even fall asleep because I have dreams of that scene where that person holds 2 prayer wheels in their hand, in his or her hands. Therefore, I call upon all of you, do not regress from the Mahayana path. On top of that, do not change your practices very often. One day you get a loan to practice from this master, and the other day you get another transmission from another master to practice. Then you probably won't be able to end up with anything. It's quite important to dedicate to Mahayana path, to be very stable with your practice and with your master. Vimalakirti considered well the activities of realms of existence. So Vimalakirti considered well. It means that he actually pays a lot of, or he spends a lot of time to consider. He would observe and analyze, and then he would carry that into action. We should learn from that. We should observe with our wisdom, and then analyze, and then we'll carry that into our action. Otherwise, there is a probability that you just read something, see something, and run away with the terrorists. Some of the students are lured away by flowery words and propagandas nowadays. Once they're lured away to go to the so-called workplace, they find, well, this is completely different. Also, don't be lured away by different media nowadays. The fast food culture nowadays are really diluted. There are apps currently in China that plays really quick videos for 15 or to 30 seconds. Many people would spend hours, even days on it. What's the point of it? I think once in a while is okay, but that's